everybody. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, our dear subscribers. You guys are the best. Right? Aren't they the best? This is Road Sharts episode 3.
The turd?
Oh yeah. We actually recorded episode turd where you made that joke, but it didn't seem to fit into anywhere on our channel, so we didn't upload it. So this is actually the turd episode. Road Sharts. By the way, if you guys don't know Road Sharts, that's a term Marlene came up with when we were just driving around one day. I forget where we were, driving to and from where. We decided to make a little Q&A episode of us in the car. And we spent a lot of time driving in the car anyways, and I thought it'd be a good time to kind of have a little conversation. It's evolved into this, which when I say evolved, I mean it's only episode 3. So, hasn't had a lot of time to evolve, but because we figure walking's good for us, and it's a good time for us to get some exercise in, and also during this build, it seems fitting kind of sum up our first week of the build that we've been doing.
That's right, because we did day 7.
Yeah, we did 7. Actually, yesterday would be 8. So there is actually a half-day episode that's being uploaded right now for episode 8. And that's basically just us talking about the windows we got.
And it came really fast.
Yeah, it came really fast. We talked to one of the partners, Amy Higgins, I believe her name, at Turn Overland. They're a little shop outside of Prescott, Arizona. We found them through one of the Sprinter forums or some Overland forum. They had the type of window we wanted. They call them the Eurovision window. So they're similar to the Dometic ones, and which are really the ones we wanted to get, but you know, we couldn't find a good place to source them. So we ended up buying these Turn Overland ones. It's called Arctic Turn. And I actually think they're just kind of a rip-off version of the Dometic ones. Right? Because I mean, honestly, the Dometic ones...
Who made it first?
I think they made them first.
Okay. And
Dometic had just bought the company that makes these windows. So it was kind of tough for us to find a place to buy it. So we ended up buying these. And I'm pretty happy with it, just by first glance and inspection. I think they're doing a good job. I mean, I've never seen the Dometic window not mounted to a vehicle. Our friend Mark that we met the other day has one. So, and that looks really nice too. But these look equally nice. So I'm excited to put those on.
Hopefully today we'll get the little drill bit you need and we can cut our first hole.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a little scary.
You can do it, Dan.
But we have to do it. Not only do we have to drill the hole, we also have to figure out where to cut the openings. And also, I think we have all the hardware we need to install them. We have the butyl tape. But we have to build like a wooden frame for all of them.
We have some scrap wood or furring
well,
strips you can use.
We got the 1x or 1.5 by 1.5 strips.
Okay.
So we use that to make frames. And the windows we got, you have like the option of 3 different depths of the wall. We got the thinnest one. So when we start to assemble them, we'll have to figure out how thick that wooden frame needs to be, so that we can space it out from the metal. My big concern right now is how thin the Sprinter metal walls are. And as you guys saw, if you've been watching the videos, that we got like a few little wrinkles on one of the edges of the wall, on one of the corners, bent like corner. When you go, we have these flat sheets of the wall, and then they press it into these kind of shapes that have edges. Right on the edge, I was pushing on it to see if I can feel the foam behind it, and I thought I did in one spot, so I push a couple more spots next to it and ended up putting little wrinkles in it. And in retrospect, I don't think the expanding foam did anything at all.
No. So
it was really just me pushing on the wall, and so that's kind of a upsetting thing, to having done that for no reason at all.
But I also called a dealership, and they said it's hard for the factory to get the sprinter walls with no little tiny crinkles in it.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's possible that there was a little crinkle there, and you saw it thinking it was because of the foam that we were putting in. But you push on the one factory little crinkle or wrinkle,
and
caused more to show up. Because when we looked on the other side, the interior panel, there is no wrinkles at all. There's no,
no, not on the inside. You can't see.
Nothing.
You can't see them on the inside, which is kind of the upsetting part, because if you wanted to kind of smooth out the wrinkles on the outside, usually what you could do is take a little dentless or painless dent removal tool and like slowly like shape it back out. But you can't see it from inside at all. So it didn't push it from the inside. It was me pushing from the outside that caused it. And one of our patrons and online Instagram friend, Jim, aka Salty Taco on Instagram, he and I have been corresponding. They just got a Sprinter 4x4 delivered to them as well after ordering and waiting months and months to get it. And last night he just said, "Hey, I got a wrinkle on my wall." So,
did you come over, Dan, and touch my van?
If I were to go up there, I would have done more than just touch his van. I would have, you know, made him go out and drink a beer or something, because he's awesome. He's a supporter of us on Patreon, and he's been supporting us for many, many, many months. And by the way, we're on Patreon if you guys want to help support. Our Patreon link is patreon.com/MollyMish. And I want to thank, actually, there's a whole bunch of new patrons that have signed up. We will list all of our new patrons' names right here. I want to thank you guys for your support. You guys are awesome. And we've had a few hundred new subscribers to the channel recently too. I want to welcome you guys all to this. If you guys don't know about us, maybe we can go over a little bit of our history.
We still need to make our like intro video that's kind of updated.
Yeah, I wrote a script for it.
We're about to go to Alaska with our Airstream. That's a little outdated.
It's 3 years ago. We've been to Alaska and back. But Alaska was kind of a turning point for the types of travel that we've been doing. So we're going on either the 10th or the 11th year. Year 10, I guess.
Yeah. Right?
So first we started in an Airstream. Actually, if you go even before that, we started in a Tab teardrop camper. We actually started with the van. We had a GMC 2500 extended Savannah, which is like a Chevy Express van. We bought that as a cargo diesel, and then we converted that to kind of a passenger. It just had the 2 seats in the front and then 2 captain seats in the second row, and the bench in the back that folds into a bed. Didn't have any kind of camping amenities besides that. We got windows put in, but it didn't have like a stove or heater or bathroom or plumbing or anything like that. But that's why we bought the Tab, and that's when we had Ava, just a few months old, and that's when we first started. And from there we got the Airstream, and then from the Airstream we were in that until end of 2015. We full-time in that for about 7 years. 7 years, which, you know, were some of the best times of our lives. But obviously these last 3 years have been equally amazing, but in a slightly different mode of transportation. So we switched to the 4-wheel camper at the end of December 2015. We got a Ford F-250 truck, put that on there, and then we spent basically the last 2.5 years in that, and added the casita about a year ago. And if you just saw the video from 2 days ago, we just said bye to our 4-wheel camper and F-250, which is definitely a bittersweet moment. I mean, we chose to sell it, and we chose to switch to the van for a lot of reasons that we mentioned before already. If you're following this van build, I think you can go to one of our videos. Which one is it? Why we're switching adventure mobiles. I'll put a link right there. You can check it out.
Was that Road Sharts number 2?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully we're not going to be as winded, but I have a suspicion that we'll be.
You're walking a little bit too fast.
We'll be just as winded this time around.
It's not a race.
Well, anytime when there are 2 people going in the same direction, it's a race. That's what they say about boats. When you're in a sailboat, 2 sailboats going in the same direction. You know, that chapter has come to an end, so we kind of look at this van build as a new chapter for us. Our friends Brett and Bree that bought the 4-wheel camper from us, they're a super nice couple. We've known them for about 3 years. We've not seen them since we met them the first time, which was 3 years ago. They're Airstreamers, and they just so happen to have been talking about downsizing. So,
like 2 days or a day before we posted our rig for sale, our rigs.
Timing was perfect. They spent last summer in Alaska, was just like us. They said Alaska changed their lives. They wanted to be able to go to more places after Alaska, and they wanted to downsize because of it. So when our rig came up,
and they didn't know how to start researching, like, what's the best vehicle, what the best camper, and they're like, well, Dan and Marlene already did all the research and proved.
Right.
And we proved that we can live it in a small space. And there's 5 of us plus a cat.
Yeah.
And,
they're just a couple in their late 20s, no pets, so they're living in luxury. They're in Coachella right now at the music festival, so something that our truck camper has never been is a music festival.
And they parked in a tent spot, which is like, saves you money.
Yeah.
Because your camper is on your truck.
And they're the envy of everybody there sleeping in a tent, I'm sure. I think it's going to work out really well for them. For us, we came to a good phase of the van build. We spent the first week basically building out all the installation, figure out where all the holes are going to be cut. So it was a good stopping point for the week. And then next week, or this coming up week starting today, we're going to cut the holes, install the windows, install the fans, and kind of finalize more of the wiring and put the headliner back in.
Yeah, it's going to clean that place up.
Yeah, it's going to
feel a lot better.
Yeah.
It's just having the little walls we put up, it just feels like, for our morale, I think it just, for me, it made me feel like, yeah, we actually did something we can visually.
And to quote myself, it looks real profesh. So I can't wait to get to the fun part, like I've mentioned before too. I think the fun part's coming up. Cutting the window is going to be a little bit scary, but obviously it has to be done. And once I drill that first hole, it's going to get better.
And you know what, Dan? If you mess up,
we just have to move the window.
Or buy a bigger window.
Or buy a bigger window.
Return the little one and then you get a big one. So, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fine. We've never done a build like this. We've always bought campers that were done. And for the most part, it's because our kids were little. We didn't want to have a lot of downtime. We didn't want to have a lot of, you know, time for us to kind of sit around, do nothing while building something. But this time it's different. We've got other projects going on that's holding us here. So we thought, if we're going to do it, this is as good a time as any. Yeah. This is called the Mirrorless Trail for those of you that are familiar with the South Bay. This is kind of a walkway. This is called Mirrorless Drive, or what is it called?
So.
Yeah, it takes San Pedro, it connects San Pedro to Palos Verdes, and that's where we're at. It's really nice. It smells nice here because the city puts a lot of their fresh mulch on the ground on these trails. So pretty much every time you walk through here, you smell the really fresh mulch. And if you follow us on Instagram and watch our Instagram stories, you would have seen a little mock-up that we put up yesterday of a decal design that I made for the side of the van. Wanted to get some of your guys' feedback, and I appreciate everybody who gave feedback. The results are mostly favorable to the design, and I appreciate everybody who voted yes or no. And we asked those of you that didn't like it reasons why, and I really appreciate that, because getting feedback's always nice. But at the same time, I'm sensitive to watering down the design and the concept too much, just because, you know, when you design by committee, things really get diluted really quickly. And some of you did say, oh, you know, it looks kind of generic, I don't know if I like it, it doesn't represent where you guys are, it doesn't seem like it fits your style of adventure, or that's just one type of environment, not another, because our design was like mountain peaks in the back, trees in the front, and some birds migrating forward towards the front of the van. And I think some of you got it, maybe a lot of you got it, that there were 5 geese migrating. And that represents us, the 5 of us in our family, moving forward, traveling in our vehicle in our home on the road. So maybe that's what some of the comments are, who said it feels generic, it doesn't seem to represent you. Maybe you didn't get that part clearly, but maybe you did, you just didn't like it, and I appreciate that too. And I think two other things that I felt were worthwhile things to change was, a lot of you said that the font was difficult to read for our website, which I agree, and part of that was kind of intentional, because I was always really sensitive of not having the branding too large. You know, the website's kind of like a subtle call to action, and I would rather have it more stylized than easier to read. Of course, you know,
our branding is supposed to be cut.
Yeah, but it's not.
We're not
selling detergent, right? Because if you were, you put a big starburst, bright color next to it, really easy to read font. So we're trying to juggle something in between. So yeah, but I will try some different stylized fonts that may be easier to read, or
yeah, we'll sit on it for a little bit.
Yeah, and I may even make it even more subtle, right?
And that's what those other peaks are on the truck. There's 5 peaks, different sizes, representing the 5 of us.
Yeah,
I don't know if
exactly.
everybody got it, but
not a lot of people got that either, because we've talked to a lot of people in person who we've met, and I would say maybe 10% of the people that we talked to realized that those 5 mountain peaks represented the 5 of us. So we were trying to find some other kind of representation, some kind of symbol that represented us in that way. And I think for those of you that know Marlene, that have spent any amount of time with her, you would know that birds are special. They're special animals to her. She's a quote-unquote bird nerd. That is not a derogatory term, that is a term of endearment. So for those fellow bird nerds out there, you guys know what that's like. So I had some different birds there, and in fact, she was like, if we're gonna have birds, we can't just have some random birds.
That was like my one criteria. It's like, somebody who's a bird nerd needs to know what kind of bird. It's not a generic black thing, you know.
Can't be a blob.
Can't be a generic bird.
Birds that you don't like, because someone's gonna ask you, hey Marlene, you're a bird nerd. What kind of birds did you pick? And you would have been like, oh, I didn't pick them. And they're doves. I don't much care for doves. No offense to people that love doves. They're a peaceful animal, which is great. So we picked a migrating bird, and somebody said,
Everybody had a comment about everything.
Yeah,
which is what we wanted.
Right. Somebody who was likely also a fellow birdner said, those are Canada geese. You guys are not Canadians. It's true. They're Canada geese. And I appreciate you saying Canada geese, not Canadian geese.
We have Canada geese in California.
That's true. And hey, you guys have bald eagles in Canada. And
it's our symbol.
We picked it first.
We should have picked the turkey.
Yeah. In fact, I think it was the turkey at one point, wasn't it?
I think they are Roosevelt. Somebody wanted a turkey,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, no. And now we have a bald eagle that has a really weak screech. Every time you hear it in the movies, it's a red-tailed hawk.
Or a golden eagle.
Yeah, golden eagles.
Golden eagles have really, really cool eagle hawk shrieks. That's kind of the, you know, the feedback we got, and we appreciate it. Oh, then the third one is a lot of you guys wanted to see the design to not end so abruptly, but have it continue pass into the door section, which I consider too. The trouble is on the other side, the side that I showed on my Instagram story. I'll put that picture right here so those of you that didn't see the story can have a little idea. And if you want to comment below your feedback, that's fine too, but we got plenty of feedback. We will read your feedback as well.
The other side has a sliding door, so if we
Right.
have our logo partially on that door, and then when the door is open, probably in most of the pictures,
It's not going to line up.
It's
Right.
gonna look weird. So
We would rather have the door be blank and have it cover up the design when it's open.
but we can make a softer if it goes that far.
Yeah, maybe it'll
go
end.
softer.
It won't abruptly cut off. Maybe it'll end before it gets to the door panel. So we'll make some tweaks based on your feedback. And again, thank you all for providing them, both positive and, I wouldn't say negative, but constructive. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you to the thumbs down people on these videos.
Oh yeah, I don't
For
know.
those 2 people that keep coming back.
Yeah, well, you know, I think some people like to give thumbs down on videos when there's no thumbs down, just so that they can see, oh yeah, see, remember that? See that thumbs down? That's me.
Or maybe people also, well, besides hating our videos, is maybe they think, oh, maybe it won't be recommended if I thumbs down it.
No, but it doesn't matter. You know, some of the highest rated videos have like mostly thumbs downs. Like in the YouTube algorithm, at least this is how I understand it. In the YouTube algorithm, it doesn't distinguish positive or negative. Everything is considered interactivity. Everything is considered user interaction. So if you get a lot of negative feedback, that also means that people are engaging either positively or negatively. So in that case, like, I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe when you compare the same subject matter side by side, one versus another, maybe one with more thumbs up will get recommended slightly higher, but compared to having no engagement at all, the ones with engagement, good or bad, are still going to rank higher.
So thank you for the 2 thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs up or thumbs down. Thank you, but that is not giving any of you the green light to give this a thumbs down. Please give it a thumbs up. Right here.
Somewhere there.
Somewhere there. Don't click the wrong one. Click the one that goes up. Yeah, so today we'll try to get back into it. We'll get back into the build. Probably not a ton of effort being put into the build today because we are waiting for something to get delivered, and we're kind of limited in what we can do until we get those parts delivered. And you guys know how it is. It's this Sunday. Delivery can come, you know, now, or it could come before dinner. If we get it just before it gets dark, we're probably not going to get a ton accomplished. So we'll see how that goes. But I want to thank you guys for watching another episode of Road Sharts. This is part third.
Yes.
Give us a note in the comments to tell us what you guys think about this series. And we do plan on doing more of these, probably at least once a week. At least once a week during this build process. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're already subscribed, you know the drill. Don't unsubscribe. Don't give it a thumbs down. If you're gonna give any kind of thumbs at all, make it go up. I'll see you guys in the next one.